Oh, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, I have stuff and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays, lots of things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays. I'm going to go over the number one piece of conventional wisdom in the pipe hobby that I don't really agree with. Something I may have touched on in the past, but it just struck me again recently. Then I had a good question from someone, Richard Smith, who was basically asking me, what do I do when I'm reviewing a blend that I don't like? Do I just suck it up and keep going, or do I just dump it out and forget about it? We'll get into that. And then of course we have your questions, comments, and feedback in hashtag askstuffandthings. Let's get into it. All right, things that you can look forward to. First of all, and I didn't bring it with me, I forgot, the timeless style video for the Levi's trucker jacket or the Levi's jean jacket will be coming out this week. Probably. I'm still trying to shoot some stuff outside. The weather has not been cooperating. It's not raining right now, but it's super, super windy, which makes it very difficult to film outside. If I can get this little bit of footage that I need, then I'll be able to edit that video together and have it out for you this Wednesday. I think it's probably 70 to 80% chance that that will be out this Wednesday. If not, or even if it is, the following week, we will have the first impressions video for Seattle Pipe Club, Virginia Jazz. This one is very intriguing. I just recorded the first impressions video for this, and based on just what it says on the front of the tin, Virginia Perique. Virginia Perique crumble cake, 10-year-old Virginias, and Acadia Perique. Sounds like a blend that I would really like. A vapor, Virginia and Perique. It has matured red Virginias in it, as it says on the back here, and a good, healthy portion of Acadian Perique. It tastes different than I expected. So check out the first impressions video that we'll be posting either this Wednesday or the Wednesday after, depending on what happens with Timeless Style. I also have some interesting socks on the way to me. Someone saw my Darn Tough socks review, and they're from a company that makes alpaca wool socks, and they wanted to send me a few pairs, and I'm quite intrigued. They seem very interesting. I've always heard that alpaca has characteristics that other wools do not. And so I'm very curious to see what these socks are like. So I should be receiving those soon, and I'll check those out for you. And then we have a blend that we're gonna use for the Revisited series. We haven't done a Revisited episode in a while. And it's something that I just was reminded of when I was talking about GLP's Gaslight. And that is GLP's Quiet Nights. I am looking forward to having this. It's been a while since I have had this. Oh, this was made on my birthday. Wow. I'm not going to tell you the exact date, but it was in February. This is my birthday blend. Maybe I should keep this and not use it. Anyway, but we'll do a Revisited thing for Quiet Nights. Also, we have Elden Ring series every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday on Stuff and Things Plays. I got through that super difficult area, and I was able to get past that super difficult boss by summoning some human players. And now we are in, I think it might be the last area in the game. I'm still not totally sure, but we're ripping through that. And I think, I don't know. It's hard to say how many more episodes are left. And obviously I'm ahead of you guys in the series, but I'm hoping we'll be done in time for the new Zelda game. If not, we're gonna have to like intersperse episodes or something, or we'll just finish Elden Ring and we'll have to wait a little bit until we get to Zelda, but we'll see. Anyway, lots of stuff coming up. Please look forward to it. All right, gang, it's time to get a little controversial here, and I know that some people out there will vehemently disagree with what I'm about to say. But one piece of conventional wisdom that you hear all the time in the pipe hobby, in the pipe community, is that if you S a blend in a pipe, that pipe will be ghosted with the flavor of that blend, and it will be almost impossible to get that flavor out of the pipe. So people talk about how they have specific pipes reserved for specific blends. And they'll have a Virginia pipe, or a Virginia Perique pipe, or an English pipe, or a Balkan blend pipe, or a pipe for aromatics, what have you, because they don't want to cross-contaminate the different flavors in their different pipes. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I have been doing this whole pipe thing in earnest for 10 years. And before that, kind of periodically, I wasn't doing it all the time, but I would kind of dip back in every once in a while. So over 10 years of experience, I've had so many blends. How many blends have I reviewed on this channel? I don't even know. I'm sure I could go back and look at my playlist, but there have been many, many blends. I tend not to go for really, really strongly flavored aromatics. Thank you, watch. Just beeped at me. So bear that in mind. Like, I'm not having blends that are super, super topped, or that are very heavily topped with flavor. But in my experience, I can S pretty much anything in any one of my pipes, and it's fine. I don't sit there like this pipe. This has a little bit of Virginia Jazz in it, this Costello. I don't know what blend I had in it last. It was probably Elizabethan or whatever I was reviewing last time. I guess it would have been maybe Salty Dogs, perhaps, by Dan T. Salty Dogs is a rum-topped blend. I'm having some Virginia Jazz in this now, or I just had some for the first impressions video. Did I notice the rum topping as I was enjoying the Virginia Jazz? No, not at all. And I'm not saying that you cannot impart some of the flavor from a blend onto your pipe. But if you're constantly rotating through your pipes, I'll have a pipe, I use a pipe during one day, and I'll have a couple bowls in that pipe. Then that pipe goes on the rack and I don't get back to it until, I don't know, a week later, something like that. And then it's always having different blends within it. So there's never a time when I'm only having, if I'm only using one pipe with one blend for a week, I could imagine that maybe that flavor would really get imparted to the pipe. But when you're constantly rotating through pipes and constantly rotating through blends, I don't really see it as an issue. And it's never cropped up for me. It's never something that's really been a big deal. I'm assuming there are some blends that are so strongly flavored or have such a distinctive flavor that maybe they will impart more to a particular pipe. But also, if you are keeping your pipes well cleaned, if you use a pipe and then, you end up reaming it and cleaning the cake out of there, how much of that flavor is going to be left inside? And if you periodically clean your pipes with alcohol, how much of that flavor is going to be left inside? It will just take on this melange of all these different blends, and none of them will be so distinct that it ruins the flavor of other blends for you. Now, this is one of those things that is super subjective, so I can't tell you that you shouldn't worry about it, because maybe it bothers you, maybe you can tell, maybe it's something that is very obvious to you. For me, and I think I'm someone who tastes flavors in pipe blends pretty well. I think I've developed a pretty good palate for it. It does not impact my enjoyment of the blends that I try in all my different pipes, constantly switching different blends, constantly switching different pipes. It has never come up. So there you go. That is my refutation of the conventional wisdom that you have to be very careful about ghosting your pipe. I think in some situations with certain blends and certain pipes, it could be an issue, but for the most part, I don't think it really matters. Feel free to sound off in the comments below. All right, and now we have a question that I thought I would break off into its own little topic. This is from Richard Smith via YouTube, and Richard says, "Hey Bradley, I'd like to ask you a question. I understand it is your thing to review blends, but I tend to S 4 bowls a day and I have a hard time when I S a blend that I'm not a fan of. Is it purely for the reviews that you are able to waste your quota on blends you sometimes don't enjoy? And do you find you are also slightly upset when you have a bowl and it is subpar? Or are you able to just dump and puff on something you enjoy right after?" Thank you for the question, Richard Smith. So this is interesting. For the most part, I'm always having a blend for review. Like I've got my old standby Elizabethan or something else like that, maybe standard mixture or something that I enjoy all the time. And then I have one tin that is open for a blend that I am reviewing. And I kind of rotate different bowls throughout the day. I don't just exclusively have that blend while I'm reviewing it. I always will have bowls of something else that I really enjoy. And occasionally there is a blend that I really do not like. Well, even that is a little strong. There's a blend that I don't care for that much. The thing with me is, even though I can be very descriptive about flavors, even though I can be kind of particular about the things that I like, I'm also not really all that picky. And maybe that seems strange to you. Maybe I don't seem that way. You could ask my fiance about this with food. I will eat pretty much anything that you put in front of me. I don't really care that much. There was a period before I was dating my girlfriend slash fiance when I ate the same meal for dinner, I think 4 out of 7 nights in a week, sometimes 5 nights. I would make a chicken breast and a salad and a roll. And I would have that for every single dinner except for maybe a couple others. And it didn't bother me. Like, it was fine. It tasted okay. And I never got tired of it because it's just sustenance. It was something I was putting in my body. That's not to say I don't enjoy good food when I have the chance to have good food. And I have the chance to have good food all the time because Diamond makes really good meals all the time. But it doesn't really bother me. I can take, how do I describe this exactly? I am able to tolerate things that are suboptimal very easily. I've developed the skill for that. I think part of that has to do with the fact that I do a manual labor job, which is often very strenuous, often makes me very uncomfortable physically. And you just kind of get used to that and you realize that it's not the end of the world. I think a lot of people in Western societies or developed countries have developed this crazy, almost psychotic aversion to ever being made uncomfortable or having something that they dislike taking place. And so I can have a blend that I don't really like all that much, and it's fine. I'll just put up with it. It's no big deal. I don't think it's any sort of weird masochistic bent in me or anything. It's just, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. So I'm not like, oh, and having to dump it out. It's, even if I don't really like it, I can just be like, I don't really like this, but it's fine. It's fine. So that's pretty much my answer. A very roundabout and weird way of getting to the answer to that question though. But yeah, it's fine. All right, gang, but now it is time for hashtag askstuffandthings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag askstuffandthings. You can also write to me via Patreon if you are a Patreon supporter and go right to the front of the line. You could also send me a super thanks on YouTube. There's a button under these YouTube videos and go to the front of the line, or you can leave comments, questions, feedback, and such in the comments section of my YouTube videos. I go through all of them and try to pick out some good ones to read to you every week. And first, we have some feedback for last week's Sunday Stuff and Things. This is from Hollywood. Hey Brad, would love to know your pipe tea lineup, at least your main 5 or 6. Mine is 965, Squadron Leader, Plum Pudding, Elizabethan, Royal Yacht, and Haunted Bookshop at the moment. It's good start, blah, blah, blah. Can't form words. That is a good lineup of blends. I've had this question in various forms before, and typically, or invariably, I will tell you that I do not have a top 5 or a top 6. I have a top 1, that's Elizabethan, and then everything else is rotating through, and it's because I have to try different blends all the time. And it's fine, like we just discussed, it doesn't bother me. It's fine. But yeah, there's certain ones that I go back to a lot, like meat and potato blends, like Standard Mixture is just a really basic, nice English blend. Things like, I don't know if I like Irish Flake as much as I used to. I think they kind of changed it a little bit, but Irish Flake was one of those. Solani, aged Burley, when I could get that. It seems way harder to get now. Gawith, Full Virginia Flake. There are things like that that are kind of in the upper echelon of blends that I really enjoy, but I can't say that I have a top 5. Next from Robbie. Good evening, Bradley. Sunday Stuff and Things is the video I most look forward to every week. Wow, thank you, Robbie. I have been working since last Tuesday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., and I finally finished. Yikes. I have Monday and Tuesday off, so now I'm sitting watching your video, essing my Peterson Dracula Bulldog and some Samuel Gawith St. James Flake. Nice. And drinking a few Irish poitín moonshine. Sunday Stuff and Things is one of the most relaxing things to watch. So it's P-O-I-T-I-N, poitín. Never heard of that term before. Sunday Stuff and Things is one of the most relaxing things to watch no matter the subject. We all appreciate the time and effort you put in making the videos. Thank you, stay safe, brother. Regards from, Dublin, Ireland. I should have done my horrible Irish accent. Thank you so much, Robbie. Next, from the Salty Dog review, this is from Scott M with a super thanks. Thank you so much, Scott M. Bradley, I appreciate the honest review. I don't regret purchasing this blend, but found between cost and mechanical difficulty with the plug, I don't see myself repurchasing in the future. I do understand why it is so highly praised, though. Thank you, good sir. Now, thank you, Scott. And this is interesting. Several people, more than several, quite a few people on the review for Salty Dogs mentioned that they found it mechanically annoying. And I kind of agree. I think that was something I mentioned in my review as well. Like, you have to, it's a pretty coarse, even when you rub it out, you'll have some pretty big chunks. You have to be careful when you're packing it. Quite a few relights. Often couldn't get down to the bottom of the bowl. It didn't bother me too much, but I can definitely see that a lot of people found that irritating. So that was interesting. It was interesting to read that. Tom Brown says, Bradley, excellent review. This is definitely one blend I will never try. First, it's a vapor. Second, it's very expensive, as Dan's blends tend to be. Although if Old Ironsides and Midnight Ride became available again, I'll disgorge the cash for them. Third, the mechanics of Salty Dogs are more than I'd want to mess with. As for alcohol toppings, see another one saying the mechanics. One of the GLP's original blends, Barbary Coast, is a cube cut burley with red Virginia and Perique. It has a brandy topping. I bought a tin ages ago and had to empty all the tea into newspaper for 2 days just to get it dry enough to S. Delicious, but I never bought another tin. Again, I urge you to try Midnight Ride. And I'm sure I will at some point. I'd like to. It is interesting, though, because Dan T, I just did the review for Old Ironsides, and Salty Dogs is like over twice as expensive, I think, than Old Ironsides. I'm not sure why. Next, from Roger Williams. I'd probably like it, but I'll be damned if I pay that much when there are so many others out there. If I'm awake in Essing, that's too expensive. Okay, pick that telly. I'm going to get another soon. Cool. And yeah, so a lot of people talked about the mechanics and the price. Interesting. And finally, from Ari Goldberg. You know what would be interesting? If you did a blind review of some blends to see how much your experience of them is influenced by prior research, the brand, tin description, knowledge of the ingredients, etc. Not saying it's all psychosomatic, but I bet there would be differences in how you experience a blend when you know literally nothing about it beforehand. Also, try C&D Oak Alley. I've been asking for that one for 6 years. Yeah, and that's interesting. I do try to go in as blind as possible because I do know for sure. If you're on, if you're reading reviews about blends, you're seeing what other people are saying, then it's almost impossible for that not to influence what you think you're perceiving in the blend. And so, like with Virginia Jazz, I didn't look at anything about this blend other than I couldn't help but see what it said on the tin, that it has Virginias and Perique in it. When I was doing the first impression, before I even looked at the back, I said, it smells like there are red Virginias in here. That was just from the scent. And then I looked at the back of the tin and it did say red Virginias. And so I trust my senses pretty well to know that I'm not going to be too much influenced by what I may know is or isn't in the tin. That being said, I'm sure I could still be influenced a bit. I don't do any research really while I'm enjoying the blend for the week or so before I do the full review. I write out notes about what I'm tasting and what I'm perceiving in the blend. And then once I am doing the review, I do some research just to know, okay, who exactly is making this? What exactly is in this based on what they have said? So it's like 60% blind, 75% blind. It may be interesting to try to do a blend that I don't know anything about, but it would be hard because I have to somehow procure the blend first, and just through the process of procuring the blend, I'm probably going to find out something about it. But interesting. Anyway, it's an interesting idea, and I'll maybe look into that. All right, gang, thank you so much for all the feedback. Please keep it coming. It helps the show go immeasurably. It's really great to have topics to discuss with you through your feedback and questions. But now, gang, it's time for the very best part of the show. And that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. My God, I am so appreciative of the people who support these channels on Patreon because I put a lot of effort into this. I know sometimes it doesn't look like it, but I really do. I put a lot of time and effort, and it's really great to have some, just a little comeback for all the effort that I put in. If I were to try to gauge what my hourly wage would be for how much time I spend making videos and responding to comments and doing all that stuff based on what I actually get, it would probably be kind of depressing, but I don't do it for that only, obviously. I do it because it's something I enjoy, and I enjoy interacting with you. But the fact that people support the channels on Patreon does help offset some of that sweat equity that I put into the channel. So thank you so much. If you would like to support the channels on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below. And every week we shout out those who support the channels at $25 or more a month. People like Kirk Crompton, Glenn Dunnington, Jason Buckner, MDoftheNorth, David Gaudreau, Nick Papageorgio, Finn O'Hagan, and Ryan McFadin. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month. People like Bob Magee. Bob Magee, who has never taken advantage of the fact that the $100 tier allows you to have a conversation with me via Skype or Zoom or what have you every 3 months. He has never done it. I have reached out to him several times. He has ignored every request. And I guess that's amazing. I feel bad, but Bob, thank you so much. Stolid and dependable. And of course, we can never forget our good, dearly departed friend and Hall of Fame member, Peter Straub. Gang, so much to look forward to. We have, hopefully this week, pretty sure this week, the Levi trucker jacket, timeless style video. We will have Seattle Pipe Club, Virginia Jazz First Impressions video. Quite interesting. Very interesting blend. We will have Quiet Nights Revisited coming up soon. We have Elden Ring every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday on Stuff and Things Plays, and hopefully Zelda sometime in May. We shall see. But until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.